Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk about success, coming off the back of NaNoWriMo, and actually more specifically inspired by some of y'all's responses to an anonymous questionnaire asking for y'all's sort of artistic, bookish, writerly secrets. So if you still want to submit one, I will leave the link down below. There were a lot of people who shared that they cheated. They cheated NaNoWriMo, or got really close and then just gave themselves the extra 2,000 in another project and felt like that was a success. And there was just this kind of recurring notion of getting really close and ultimately feeling like it was a success and you deserved the win. And so I kind of just want to chat about success and what the numbers tell us. And then success is a feeling, especially in regards to my own experience this year, as I had to contend with being unwell for a stretch of months and need to do all these new different things to me in order to continue feeling my best, and they kind of take away from what I'd imagined my year would look like initially and what I would succeed in doing. And in that sort of perfect way where you've been struggling with something, you've been kind of mulling over some new concepts, I stumbled upon this perfect quote. It's actually a butchering of the real quote, but I prefer this one, which defines success as the progress toward a worthy goal. That was Earl Nightingale, and his actual quote is, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal." Just this concept of success actually being progress towards something that you deem worthy has been sort of like revolutionary to me. So let's backtrack. If we're going to talk about the numbers, let's talk about the numbers. For me, for Nano, I pulled a crazy win out of my hat. My graphs look insane, and I wrote 6,000 on the last day in order to solidify my win. And in the back half of Nano, I really kind of cemented for me that the thing you have to do is, most especially for Nanos, or perhaps exclusively for Nanos, is that if you find yourself behind but you're still shooting for the goal, just hit the minimum each day. You know, just don't let yourself get further behind. And so when you're focused on the numbers, that's really the game you have to play. But what I found was that just doing any amount of writing for the day made me feel good. So even if it wasn't the 1667, earlier in Nano, if I did 500 for the day, I was like, yeah, I wrote today in this project, which is what I wanted to do, and that felt good. I progressed the story forward. I kind of, held the deal that I made with myself. Everything about that felt good. And personally, I know that I can attribute my success this Nano to something that I never thought I would be able to say, which is that I like fully outlined this project. I did a lot of prep work, and in the biggest twist of all, really stuck to the prep work that I had done. I found in Nano's past, I would do at least some prep, maybe half the prep I had planned, and then really halfway through Nano, maybe not even halfway, I would just veer off to the side, and then I would be flying more again by the seat of my pants, and that is crazy and fun, and I do still love it, but ultimately for me, this go around, I know I could not have won Nano had I not done all the prep work I did before. And this is the first time that I think I found a way to prep and outline a story that worked for me. I love being a pantser. I've moved in recent years towards being more of a plantser, and this time I just had like a full-on plotter phase. I was like, let's try this on just once. Like, let's see how it goes. And it went shockingly well. And it's worth noting here, another big thing I've realized this year is that people have told me this before. I get comments on videos over the years, having recorded so many and posted so many other stuff, where they're like, maybe you should try this thing. I think it would really help you specifically. Like, you're clearly struggling. or you just, you sense that something could help someone, or you see them going down what you think is the wrong path or whatever. And I always welcome advice. The thing I've learned though is that sometimes you're not at a place to take that advice. So I'm sure someone had told me to try this sort of outlining plotting method I did this time. And I had tried outlining plotting methods before that just didn't work. But for whatever reason, at this stage in like my writing career, if we want to call it that, I was ready to accept that and run with it. And I think it's hard sometimes, not even advice that you get on videos, but maybe if you're just reading up how famous authors do it. I've done a lot of my tried, writing like experiments, so I know a lot about how famous authors do things, and it's all very different. And sometimes you think, oh, maybe that would work for me, and you try it and it does not work for you. But what I found is that maybe I was not at a place for that to work with me, and that's okay. And it's okay to then later come back a year, 2 years, 10 years down the line, try it again, and maybe now that's something that works with you. Whether it's a routine, a piece of writing advice, how you outline your story, how you prep Nano, how you do anything, might work for you at certain stages and then might not, and you might have to find something else. And again, funny timing. I am subscribed to Susan Dennard's newsletter and I adore it. It is one of the best writing newsletters, free writing newsletters that's out there, I think. The title of it is What I Need to Know Before I Draft. And I was like, oh, okay, Susan, tell me what you need to know. Like, maybe I'll glean something from this. And if I can't use it now, I can use it down the line. And her whole thing is about leaning into her intuition, which sounds quite appealing, quite intriguing. So of course I scrolled, and someone asked her, now that you're writing more intuitively, do you find there are certain things you need to know before diving into drafting? Like want, need, something about the conflict, self-revelation, etc. And Susan says, oh, what a doozy of a question. Seems simple, but in reality, it lacks an easy answer because I still don't know. Okay, and she goes on to explain, that's right, despite 12 plus finished books on my hard drive, another 7 plus unfinished ones, and countless ideas and half-formed proposals, and I own some of her books, some New York Times best-selling books. She says, I still do not know what I need before I start drafting. If you had asked me this question a few years ago, Lisa, I would have said I needed only a character's voice and their desperate desire. In fact, I'm almost certain I've said that in several newsletters at this point. It isn't wrong, but it also isn't everything. Sometimes I need to know the story world inside and out. Other times I need to know the character's backstory inside and out. Sometimes even when I know both those things, the right story still won't appear to me. It's frustrating. Actually, it's downright infuriating, and I find it most vexing when I'm dealing with sequels. I should know these characters intimately. I should know their voices, their worlds, their backstories, their desires, and yet I can never connect. I can never just finish one book and slide right into the sequel. Why? I'm not going to go into the rest of this incredible newsletter. Subscribe! But of all the research I've done into famous writers, that is perhaps one of my favorite things that I've read, is this person who's still like, the same thing won't always work for me, and I don't totally know why, and if that is you, I guess this is all to say that that is okay. It is okay to read up on all the advice, all the things you should be doing before Nano or before starting a story or any other thing. And it's okay to get lost along the way if it turns out that you just weren't at a place for that advice to work. Or if that advice may never work for you, right? Because success is about progress toward a worthy goal. And I think that as writers, we always have sort of two worthy goals, at least. Like, one of the worthy goals is the current project we're writing, and the other worthy goal is to get better as a writer. And I think through all these sort of trials and errors, all of these like slight misses, we are learning to become better writers. So while I will share all the Nano secrets that y'all have, I just wanted to throw that out there now. It tied in just so perfectly with how I was feeling. And I should say that this outlining method that I have tried again for another project has also worked. I outlined a story in, I'm gonna say a day, but actually it was one of these stories that I'd worked to outline during Preptober. So I'm taking a closet full of cauldrons. I have outlined it into every scene now, and I'm so excited. And it all makes sense. There are twists. It's a mystery. Like, I feel so good. And I am so excited to write it. And while all of this advice was absolutely out there before, just kind of like a hodgepodge of other people's versions of prep and outlining that I've put together, I don't know that like before Murder Mystery Tennessee, I could have taken this advice and actually utilized it. I needed the failure of Murder Mystery Tennessee to show me and teach me some lessons, you know? The real interesting thing here for me is how will this inform my goals going forward? Not just this version of outlining, but also this sort of mentality of success is progress toward a worthy goal. because I've been doing another thing I talked about in a vlog where, oh my gosh, the planner community calls it a ta-da list instead of a done list, which I love. So I too am now calling it a ta-da list. But I have been writing down exclusively just things that I have done. Whether that's how many words I wrote, whether that's scenes I got to, whether that is I read 3 chapters of a book today, whether it's just like things that I'm proud of for having accomplished throughout the day. In part, the goal that I initially had when starting these to-do lists was to better understand how to set goals going forward. And now it's just like affirming and nice. And I like seeing it at the end of the day, like as it grows throughout the day. I'm like, look at me doing things. But during one of my morning pages, I was like not in the flow of things, and I really just wanted to write down what I had to do for the day because I had so many thoughts swirling. This is the first time I'd written down a to-do list in the 2+ weeks since I've started the ta-da lists. And I did have some difficulties. I think it was nice to have the to-do list because at one point early in the morning it dumped out all the things so that I could proceed to other stuff and I wasn't fretting about things as I am prone to the fret. But also it meant that as I completed the list and as I wrote down my to-do list, I think I was always comparing what I'd accomplished to what I'd initially said earlier, and it just didn't feel the best. It felt slightly off. So going from feeling wonderful for 2 weeks to then feeling this little bit of like, I don't like this, was interesting. So now it's just this conundrum of how do I set worthy goals? How do I set goals? Because you do have to still set goals. Or maybe you don't have to. I feel like I have to. The merging of the like, this is my creative outlet mixing with this is how I make money makes it so that I feel like I have to set goals. So perhaps that's still like maybe a year from now, I'll be like, no goals, woo! But at least some of my goals have been amended to be like, I want to get better about not having white room syndrome, especially in the first drafts. Like I think that would really streamline my writing process is if I could better picture the room and better put that on the page in the first place. So it's kind of like one of those where that's going to be the big goal for the year is just getting better at that. I'm really excited about it, but it's not numbers based, which is nice. Which is incredible. I'm excited for all like the little challenges I can do, all the random prompts I can try just to get better at this thing. So that's kind of how I'm feeling, and I'm trying to see how I can how I can get rid of number-based goals. And I just haven't figured out how to do it yet because I quite like the number-based goals. It's just that I like them until I don't. And for a long time, I thought if I could just set better goals, if I could set more appropriate goals, then this would be like a non-issue. And maybe that is still true, which is the other side of this to-do list is if I just figure it all out, then like it won't be a problem. I don't know. See, it's a work in progress, but I'm having some epiphanies. I feel like if this is a journey, just off screen, a journey I've had to be kinder to myself in these sort of ways. I feel like I have really progressed along that journey. It feels more like an actual realization rather than just something I said and knew was true. JC was on in the chat in a stream the other day. I'll link her channel and some videos of hers down below, but she was talking about how it was a Sunday and this was usually her day off, like no work, but because she hadn't met all of her work plans, writing plans, whatever, on the Saturday, she was now doing them on Sunday. And I was like, and I know this JC because I've watched her video and we've gone back and forth about this. I understand the desire to like just try and get them done when what you really need is to let that Sunday be that Sunday and not work and take that off mentally and refill the well and all these other things. And I think that is the part that's being kind to yourself, is recognizing that actually the long run, it's okay if this thing doesn't get done on Sunday. What would be better for you is to take it off like you said you would and enjoy your time and come back at it on Monday. And unfortunately, once again, it was having my migraines act up so severely that forced me into this epiphany. because apparently I cannot change without great pain. But I had this thing the other day where I was looking and I was like, oh, I'm close to 50K on YouTube. That's so cool. And it was like, oh, what can I do? Like immediately my brain is like, what can I do to hit that goal? And then the other part of me is like, but why? This is the kind part. The part that's like, but why do you need to hit that goal? Who cares? You know, like what does hitting that mean? And how can I make any YouTube specific goals more about connecting more with the community or having more fun or trying new things? Like the stuff that actually matters at this stage for me, because inevitably the side goal, I don't know if I was to draw this out, the 50K goal, what has to happen is that I have to like push more and I have to do more than I'm doing, and that's how I would spiral down with that. I don't know that everyone would spiral down, but that's how I would spiral down. I know myself well enough to know that that's what would happen if I set that as the goal. But I have found a great freedom and really enjoyed my time in the past few months doing YouTube the way I've been doing it, where it does not need to be a push. It can just be fun. And if I skip out on making videos that I thought I was gonna make because my head hurts or my eyes hurt or any number of other things, guess what? That's okay. And I know it sounds dumb. It sounds like that should be obvious, but for a long time I would say that that was true and not feel that that was true, but now I feel that it's true. Progress towards a worthy goal. Success. So anyways, wow, where did this go? What was this? I don't know what this was. I feel like half of these Coffee with Kate videos end up me just being like sort of ranting at past me in some ways. But I guess I learned a lot this year and I'm happy about the things that I've learned. There is still, again, more to be learned. I would really like to reconcile how to make number goals or time-based goals healthy for me. I just don't know exactly what that is yet. I have been using this new tracker that Jessica Williamson, the Hex Library, recommended, and I really love it. It's really fun. I love a good spreadsheet. That is never going to go away. And obviously there are some things like needing to get a book to an editor at a certain time that like sort of forces you to get into this like spacing things back. And then you have the side of it where like if you really need to, you can usually be like, hey editor, like it's not ready, it's not done because I was X, Y, or Z. Like there's wiggle room, and yet. Anyhow, maybe these are the things I will learn in 2023. But please do comment down below. Let me know if there are any lessons learned you have from NaNoWriMo, from having a health scare this year, from your writing progress, from trying a new writing process or writing routine. I would love to know, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye!